So good evening once again. So today's session will be an overview on the business analysis domain. We'll go over the basics, the fundamentals of business analysis. And this session is all about, for you to ask me any questions. If you have any concerns or doubts, feel free to ask me. We will have a Q&A session at the end, but if you have any questions which you think, you need to ask me, just feel free to ask them, okay? So now what we will do is we'll start with basic introduction because we'll be working for the next 6 weeks. So I would like to know a little bit about you guys. Of course, I'll introduce myself as well. So your education, your work experience, if you have worked, what's your career goal, or what are you looking out from this training? Different people have different goals. Like somebody is already working as a BA, they want to brush up their knowledge. Some want to, change their career in terms of from non-IT to IT domain. A few people are working as a developer and they want to work as a BA now, right? So just want to understand those goals. And any hobbies you have, if you want to share with us. Right, so today's agenda will be, as I said, go over the business analysis domain, who is a business analyst, why we need a business analyst on a project, some of the key skills required to become a good BA, why you should pursue your career as a BA, right? I'm not talking about a job, I'm talking about a career. And then we'll take a look at what we offer in terms of the training and how we can help you start your career as a BA. And as I said, in the end, we will have an open forum for Q&A, but you may ask me your questions. If you think, you can't wait till the end, feel free to ask me. So that's me. Just wanted to make sure that, you're talking to a live person, because everything is online here. So my name is Chetanvmehta and I'm the lead instructor for this course. So as far as my education goes, I have a bachelor's in economics marketing, and unfortunately I had to do 2 MBAs. One was in marketing and one was in finance. And I did a diploma in programming in COBOL, but that has nothing to do with what I'm doing today. So I did this diploma in programming way back in 1998, and I never did any programming on the project. So it's as good as saying that, I'm just one of you guys who had no programming experience, right? So that may help you alleviate some of the concerns many people have, that I don't have IT background, I don't have a programming background. So you don't need to have a programming background to become a good BA. My work experience, basically I started my career at IIM Ahmedabad, Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad, as a research associate. And then I moved on to different domains in India. I worked in oil and gas, I worked in logistics, shipping, but I was working in different areas like business development, marketing, procurement. And in 2003, I came to US to pursue my second MBA. And in 2005, I started my career as a junior BA. And to make long story short, as of now, I'm working with Booz Allen Hamilton, which is one of the top US-based consulting firms. I'm working as a project manager these days. Just that's a new role. 3 months back, I took it. But I do lead a team of BAs there. And in addition to that, I do the training and coaching. The next thing is my certifications. I'm a Certified Business Analysis Professional, CBAP. I'll talk more on that later in the course. Have an active PMP, Business Process Management, and Certified Scrum Master certifications. And about my hobbies, I like to take a lot of photos. I won't say I'm a very good photographer, but I am very fond of, wildlife and candid photographies and those kind of things. So whenever I get time, I do spend my time with my camera. So that's about me. So let's get going and just have a quick introduction. Akshay, you want to go? I'll just go with the names I see here on the list. So just introduce yourself, Akshay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. Myself Akshay. I did MBA in finance from Cal State Eastway, and currently I'm working at Emperex as a business systems analyst.
Awesome. So you said you're already working as a business systems analyst.
Yeah.
Right. So what is your goal, or what is the objective?
It's an entry-level position, so I don't really have much knowledge about business analyst.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't feel bad if I ask you any question, right? I just want to understand, more about you, and of course, feel free to ask me any questions you have. So there's no bad question. Thank you, Akshay. Harsh?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I have 11 years of IT experience, and I've worked primarily in technical space. I was a technical architect 1 year before, and kind of like, switched from technical domain to business domain and project management. I think it's more than 1 year now, like I think 1.5 year. So I'm looking primarily, my goal for this training is to streamline my thought process and the processes which I know, because right now I have learned everything myself. I want to learn it from the expert and follow the same procedures or processes accordingly.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Kanika?
Hi everybody. For me, I moved to the US 3 years back, and before that I managed my own family business for about 9 years. Since I'm here, I mean, I've been working in different jobs, and I mean, for now it's an HR role which I do for an IT consulting company. I just want to make a career change, and I feel that business analysis is something that I would be interested in, and just want to learn more and make the switch.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you. Kenny?
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny. My undergrad was computer science, and about I think 3 weeks ago I just graduated with my MBA degree, and I've been working in a bank for 3 years or thereabout before I came for my MBA, and I just want to continue from where I stopped, and my goal is to, as much as I can, learn in this class and get my Scrum certification, and get a good job. Basically, get a nice job.
Awesome, and congrats on your graduation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Shirisha?
Hi everyone. I have undergrad degree in BTech, Electrical and Electronics Engineering from India, and I finished my MBA, graduated last December. Me and Akshay are classmates. We graduated from the same university, Cal State East Bay. I'm currently working on my OPT with Microsoft as a program manager. I have around 10 years of experience. I worked in India earlier with the Microsoft for 8 years. I'm continuing with the same team even now on my OPT. I'm looking for a change in the job, and the kind of work that I did during all my experience is kind of related to the business analyst role in the US. So I wanted to have a hang of an idea on what actually a business analyst here with that role does here, and also want to get my Scrum Master certification. That's about me.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Hey, Sumira. Sumira, you want to go next? Hey, Sumira, are you there? Okay, we'll come back to Sumira. Vishwajit?
Hi, Chetan. Hello,
Hi.
everyone. My name is Vishwajit Tambade, currently located in Minnesota. Well, about my education, I am also postgraduate in marketing and MBA in general management. About my work experience, I have 10 years of experience in banking and finance. I work for Yes Bank, Citibank, Kotak Mahindra Bank in India, not here. Currently, I am on H4, and the reason today I am attending this session is I want to get into the IT, and this is the only thing, since I'm a non-IT guy. That's the reason I'm here today.
Okay. Okay, so thank you. I think Sumira is there. I think she's having some issues. Are you able to listen to us, Sumira?
She sent a message that she has a problem maybe with her mic. She can hear us.
Okay.
She's chatting on the chat window.
Yeah, I can see that. So you can type in your questions, Sumira, or you want to dial in from your cell phone. That's also okay. But we'll go ahead and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Okay, so I think we have a good mix of crowd here. Few people, few of them are from IT. They want to switch from one role to BA role. A few are working as entry-level BAs, and some of them are totally new. They are not from IT domain, but they want to start their career as a BA. So that's an excellent crowd we have. So I think I guessed it right when I said, like, generally typically that's what we have. But so for folks who have not worked in IT, so for them there is, first of all, just take it out that you need to have a coding experience to become a BA, right? Most of the BAs, even the PMs, they don't have coding experience, or even if they have studied computer science or they have engineering degrees, they have never coded in their life. So they are just one step ahead of people who have not done their programming in school. So today what we'll do is I will just take one, a case study and walk you through the flow and see what the role of a BA is and how you as a BA will be helping your client to solve the problems they are facing. Okay?
Hey, Chetan, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
So this is Harsh here. Will you be recording this, and if you want to hear it back, how we can do it?
Yes, I'm recording it.
Okay.
So huh?
Go ahead.
No, I was saying just make sure that it's being recorded, so you will be on the record. Okay? I'm just kidding.
No problem.
Yeah, tell me. So you had any questions?
Yeah, so like how we can access these and all details, will you be telling us later?
Yeah, I'll tell you everything.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So, so as a business analyst, right, before we talk about the role itself, let's understand the discipline itself, right? The business analysis. So if you look at the term business analysis, that's pretty easy term, right? On one is business, and then second is analysis. That means somebody, or basically a process of analyzing a business, right? That's a business analysis in a very simple terms. But let's take an example, a case study, and see what exactly it means in a real world situation. Now you can see, can you see this diagram? Are you able to read it, or is it too small?
The one on the top is a little small, but I guess it's fine.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So let's assume that, there's a bank, right? Now this is common, it can be a bank, it can be a product-based company, it can be a service-based company, right? So it doesn't matter which kind of domain are we talking. In this example, we'll just talk about a local bank, right? Now this bank is having a lot of issues. As you can see here, that one is the revenue is declining, right? That means every quarter or every month, the revenue is falling down. Their operating costs are going up. Profit margins are shrinking. And because of all this issue, the employees are not satisfied. They are not able to get the best benefits from the company. And that means they are leaving at a very high rate. The employee attrition rate is high. Employees are not satisfied. And because of all this, the customers are also not happy because they are not getting the best service from this bank. And even we can see here that the stock prices are falling down. So whenever the company has got all these issues going on, you can't be expecting the stocks going up, right? Whenever the bank has having all these issues, not only bank, any company, a company who is facing all these kind of issues, the stock market will read those things and it will make sure that the stock prices reflect the health of the company. So here the stock prices are also falling. Now what do you do as a bank? If you are the CEO of the bank, or if you are in the top level management of a bank, you would definitely be concerned, right? As a as
Yeah.
a as an employee, I may be concerned a little bit, but if let's suppose you are a director of the bank or a VP of a bank, would you just sit and relax and see what's happening?
No.
No, right? So a management of a bank will be taking a stock of the situation. What's going on? Now they know the problem, they are seeing the problems, but they don't know what's causing it, correct? You need to do some analysis, or you need to do some study, or in very layman's term, you need to do some research on what is causing all these issues. Why is our revenue falling? What is the reason why our operating costs are so high? Right? Why are employees not satisfied? Why is our customer base not satisfied? Why are they leaving and moving away from our bank? So all these answers will be required by this management. So what will happen is they will get hold of people who have the right skills and expertise in digging down further. So the problem domain analysis, right? The problem domain is where we are trying to understand the root cause of the problem. What is causing all this issue? And there are different aspects of studying those. So like strategy, policies, skills and expertise, organizational structure, business processes, technology. So these are different areas of study. That means somebody will be looking at all of these areas and try to see where the problem lies. So for example, strategy. What do you mean by strategy? Who can help me with this? And I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. whatever you know from your experience or your gut feeling, just feel free to share. Okay. So when I say strategy, what do you mean by strategy?
I think you mean by strategy we mean that to execute some task, what plan or what organization level plan we have to execute that process, right? Or
Right.
to policy, to execute that policy.
Okay. Right. So basically strategy is your roadmap towards your growth, right?
Yep.
How do you want to grow? So you would have set a vision. Typically the any bank or any company will be setting a vision. Any organization will be setting a vision where they want to see in 10-15 years down the line. In order to meet the vision, they will set some goals, right? And then in order to support those goals, they will come up with a strategy. Now, a strategy is something like, somebody would be studying and asking that, are we offering the right products and services? Correct? Maybe they are not offering the right products and services. Are we targeting the right customer base? It's very important, right, that you are targeting right customer base. Imagine if a company like Apple, what is the customer base of Apple? Whom do they target? Any clue?
I think they target niche crowd, the high level crowd or the upper middle class to which.
Okay.
They also target people that admire style and hierarchy. I mean, people want to buy the name. Probably. Yeah.
All right. So if you see, Apple products are targeted more towards like a youth crowd, right? Their main clientele or main customer base is more towards like a youth than like corporate executives. That's another story that, now even everybody goes towards Apple, but originally their customer base was mainly like college students or, working professionals, those kind of people, young working professionals. They never targeted like high level executives or, those kind of age groups. So it's important to know that, are you targeting the right customer base? Are we tapping the right geographical markets? Is the price of our product or service is correct, or is it too expensive, or is it too cheap? So those will be the areas of study when you are doing a strategy level analysis, right? Let me know if you have any questions, okay? A silence means either you are with me or you are totally lost. So I won't know that. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay, good.
Sure. Yes.
So the next area of study will be a policy. So a strategy is something which is like a roadmap towards growth. A policy is more to set some rules and standards in terms of how we will operate on a day-to-day basis. Like if you have noticed, when you, let's suppose if you book a ticket, right? If you buy a flight tickets, they will have certain policies that, okay, in so-and-so class, you can carry 2 baggages. It must not weigh more than so-and-so lbs, right? In those kind of, all these are policies which are determined by the management of the company. So, and some examples of policies can be human resource policies, your 401k, your medical, your tuition reimbursements. Those are some policies which are related to the employees of the firm, right? Some are customer-centric policies, like how much discounts can you give to an employee, whether it's a corporate customer or a individual customer, or it's a government customer. You may have different pricing policies, discounting policies, and other terms and conditions may vary depending on your customer. Like when I was working with GSA, they had different policies for different customers. The terms and condition and the pricing policies would change based on which kind of customer we are dealing with. Right? So the policy is another aspect of studying. Where are we lacking? Are we having any of the policies which is causing any of these issues here? Third thing is skills and expertise. That means, answer me this, who will be working in a company? Who does the bulk of the work? You take a look at any organization, who is responsible for doing the day-to-day work?
The people under the management, I think.
What's that?
They're lower than the management. It's not the management that does it, but people under the management.
People, right?
Yeah.
So, like a people will be responsible for doing the work on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't matter which level are they VP or they are at a junior most level, but at the end of the day, they are all humans, correct?
Yes, sir.
So here we need to understand, do we have the right skills and expertise, what we need in order to be a successful organization? Now, I'll share one experience. Way back in 2002, when I was working in India, we were trying to implement an ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. So it was like you can think of an SAP, right? So we were trying to implement that across the enterprise. But the problem was, even though we had a good pool of employees, nobody knew how to use that system. So the skills and expertise was a big challenge because there was a huge gap between what we were expected to do and what we knew. So there was a company which was called in to assess the skills and expertise of all the employees across all the levels. Hey, did I lose you guys?
No,
Okay.
stay with you.
So they determined at the end of the analysis, they decided that, okay, there's a huge gap between where the employees stand in terms of their skills and expertise and where they want or where they should be. So we underwent a lot of training, a lot of coaching, and they wanted to make sure that when they roll out the system, we all should be familiar with the system and we should be able to use the system in order to do our day-to-day work, right? And then the last area here is, I will talk about these two in a bit because these two are very important for a BA. But this one, I will talk about it first. The organizational structure. What do you mean by organizational structure?
I guess it means the level of hierarchy, the
Exactly.
level of, yeah.
Exactly, yes. So it talks about different hierarchies you have, how an organization is set up, what are the different departments, divisions, how the reporting is done, right? The reporting happens across the departments, across the divisions, or within the same division, how will the reporting be done? Typically, the manager, right? You will have subordinates reports to the manager reports back to his or her manager, right? Maybe a VP, and the VP reports to CEO, a CEO reports to the board of directors. So that's how the reporting happens. So here we may want to understand, like, do we have a lot of divisions which are doing similar work, or do we have some divisions, or within the division do we have people who are doing some non-value added work? So you might have seen, like, a lot of times you might have heard about this, that companies are closing some departments or divisions, or they are merging two different divisions into one single division, right? You might have heard about 2,000 people getting laid off. Have you heard this before?
Yes.
Right? So why do you think that all of a sudden 2,000 people are taken out of the job? It's not because they didn't work. It's not because they lacked some skills. It's not because they were not good employees. It simply means that because of the organizational restructuring, some divisions were taken out, or some divisions were merged together, and that's why you have this 2,000 people which are no longer required. Right? So the strategy, policies, skills and expertise, and organizational structures, these have to be studied. They have to be analyzed. But who does it? A analyst will do it, correct? It's a generic role. I'm talking about a very generic role, analyst. Now, but within the analyst, you have different types of analyst. Now, when I talk about the strategy, policies, skills and expertise, or understanding the organizational structures, typically they are done by a role called a management analyst or a business architect. At the end of the day, they are still analysts, but the management analyst or a business architect, they are type of analyst who work with the senior level executives, who work with the top level executives, and they are more across the enterprise and have, like, they are seasoned analysts. They have got good exposure to the different domains and maybe have 15-20 years of work experience with different clients. So they are, like, think about it, they are very seasoned analysts who have been exposed to a lot of different situations and scenarios. Now, in addition to these 4 areas, there are 2 more areas which as a BA you must be concerned, because this is your core strength: the processes and the technology part. So when I talk about the processes, what do you mean by a process? Who can tell me?
I guess it
I would.
means, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, it means the way things are supposed to be done.
Okay. Who else can tell? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
would say a flow of activities
Exactly.
to complete a task.
Right. Flow of activities, correct. So in any organization, as I said, you have different departments, correct? Or divisions. Within those divisions, what happens? There are multiple processes which are run on a day-to-day basis. Now, process is nothing but a sequence of activities which is done on a day-to-day basis. It has a start event, it has an end event, and in between you have steps involved, and each step will take an input, it will do a processing, and it will churn out an output for the next step, right? So for example, let's take some examples. When you buy something, let's suppose you go online and buy from Amazon. You purchase a book. Now from the time you purchase the book to the time it comes to your doorstep, there are set of activities which happens, right? There are set of steps that will happen in between. Somebody will receive the order, they will take a look at it, they will process your payment, they will go and pick the book from the shelf or the aisle, they will pack it, they will ship it, and they will close the account, and you will get the book, right? So there are different steps involved. So that's a process. Account reconciliation is a process. Bless you. So there are different processes which are being done on a day-to-day basis within each divisions. And who will be doing those processes? Kanika?
It took the employees of the company,
Employees?
people who are working in the company.
Okay.
They'll be going through the processes which are created.
Correct.
Product manager.
Okay. Right.
It
So
could be people or systems also.
exactly. Yes. Good. Yeah. So Sumera, good. And yeah, Kenny, good. So yes, you gave me both the answers. So one will be the humans, right? And the second aspect of that will be the systems or application, which will be used to do the processes. Correct?
Yes.
So you take any example, like let's suppose we take a bank. They will have people who are working in the bank, and then do you think they will be doing everything manually? No, right?
No.
Certain things, yes, they might be doing it, but most of the times they will be using some sort of system or application or software, whatever you want to call it. They will be using that in order to do their work, right? So processes are done by humans, and humans will be using the systems or applications or software to do their day-to-day work. Now, some of the work can be automated as well, right? You don't need any human intervention. So some of the processes can be fully taken over by the systems. Like for example, you want to run some reports, you want to generate some reports. You don't need any human being to do that. You can program it in such a way that as per the requirements, the reports will be generated. So now what happens is, as a business analyst, right, you have to understand the processes of your client, how they are being done in the current state, and what are the tools or the applications they are using to do those processes. And that's being done by the BA, business analyst or business systems analyst. So you may not be involved in these four phases, but you will definitely be involved here, because now your client has told, hey, we are facing all these problems. They want answers where the problem lies. So you as a BA or business systems analyst will have to start looking at the processes of your client, and if they are using any applications to do the processes, you will have to take a look at that as well. Right? In today's world, even though we say that everything is done using an application, the applications are there to support a process, correct? If you don't have a process, you don't need a system or an application. You see what I'm saying? So let's suppose I'm selling some goods online, right? I have an online portal where I'm selling some products. If I stop making those products, do I need that system which I use to sell my products?
No.
I don't need, right? So any system or application which is being used in the business is there to support the process. If you take out the process, you don't need a system. So as a BA or a BSA, first thing you need to do is, in order to solve the problem of your client is this, and they are facing all these problems. In order to solve the problem, you will have to understand where the problem lies. And the first step you will be doing is understand it by analyzing or studying the processes they are doing it in the current state. How are things being done in the current state? That's the first step you will do. Right? So that's one aspect of it. So you want to identify the main root causes of the problem. Now, once you start studying your processes of the client, you might discover that, hey, in this process, there are certain steps which are redundant. You don't need to do those steps. Or maybe there's a better way to do it so that you can save some time and you can save some cost, because whenever you save time, you are saving some money there. Maybe certain steps in the process can be automated. You don't need to do it manually, right? Or certain steps can be done in parallel. Like, it's very simple logic. If I do one step at a time, it will take me maybe 5 minutes, or 6 minutes. But if I do those two steps in parallel, I may be done in 3 minutes, right? I can cut the time. The cycle time can be reduced if you can do it in parallel. So basically here, the goal should be, as a BA, you should try to identify where exactly are the inefficiencies in the process. And as I said, some of the examples are we doing something which is non-value added task? That means it doesn't add value to the process. Are we doing steps manually? Are we doing things which are being done by some other person? That means we are duplicating the task. Those kind of things, basically, you will be looking at in the process and recommend to your client the way you can change the process. So once you are done with the problem domain, you come to the solution domain, where you define the to-be state process, removing all the inefficiencies in the process. So let's suppose we are having a process where two people are doing the same thing. So in the to-be state, when you talk about the solution domain, now you want to recommend to your client that, hey, this is how we should be doing it. So I should not be introducing the same inefficiencies in the to-be state process. Are you following?
Yes.
Yes, Chetan.
So in the to-be state or a solution domain part, my goal as a BA should be to recommend to my clients much more efficient and effective ways of doing things. So my processes will be more efficient, more effective. You take out all the inefficiencies you had in this phase, right? And your to-be state processes should be free of all these problems which we mentioned. And that will be the basis for defining your system. So whenever you have a process based on those process, the systems will be designed. So once you have laid out this piece, right, this is, I will call it as a to be state or a future state, right? So this is my as is, how things are being done in the current state, and this is my to be state or future state, whatever name you want to give it, right? As is current state, to be future state. So in the future state will be the one which we'll use to define the system. Now, why do we call a BA, a business analyst, as a bridge between the business and IT? You might have heard about this definition, right? A business analyst is a bridge between a business and an IT. Have you heard about this before?
Yes.
So now that's exactly why they call it, because now as a BA, the processes you came up with here, those must be translated into the system level requirements. Because if you give these to the developers, they won't understand what needs to be done. Now, I think one of you have worked as a developer, right? Who was that? I think Harsh,
Yeah, yes.
right? Now imagine if I as a BA, I give you these processes, the to be state processes, and I tell you to define the system or write a code basically. Will you be able to do it?
Hello?
No, simple answer is no, because Harsh needs more details.
Sorry, I was disconnected in the middle. So,
Okay. So in order to write a code, the processes must be further defined in terms of the system level requirements. So these are my business level requirements, right? My business process is all about business. But if I give those to my development team or testing team, they are not going to write the code based on that. So what do you do as a business systems analyst? You convert these business level requirements into system level requirements. And the way you do it is using different tools and techniques. Oops. Okay, what happened? One second. Just give me a minute. I think it froze. 1 second, guys. Okay, there you go. So here you will be converting your business level requirements into system level requirements using different tools and techniques. That will be covered, of course, in the course. But just to give you a gist of it, there are different modeling techniques you will be using, like a context diagram, UML, Unified Modeling Language. Within the UML, you have different types of diagrams. You will be using that because the developers understand those things, right? So there are two aspects of it. One is the modeling aspect, which I just now told you, using UML, Unified Modeling Language, context diagrams. And then you will have to write some documentation to support those models. And documentation can be from FRD, functional requirements document, to system use cases, to business rules document. If you are in agile environment, it can be an epic, user stories, acceptance criteria, right? Data dictionary. All of these documents along with the models will be used by the team, your development team, your testing team, to write the code, to test the code. Right? Now, the reason is in today's environment, whatever the process is, the best way to make it more efficient and effective is by using a system, right? So that people can work much more efficiently and effectively using that system. So the goal is to understand the problems in this phase, come up with the to-be state processes, the requirements, convert them into the system level requirements, because the goal is to either automate the process or build a system which will support that process. And as part of that, you as a BA will be coming up with a lot of artifacts. It can be models, it can be documents, which will be used by the team to write the system. That means to write the code, to test the code. And at the end of the day, your customer should be getting rid of the problems they were facing. Now here, what can be the problem they were facing? Maybe the customers were not happy because the process was not good, right? It was taking a lot of time to get a loan approved. And the reason was their current state process was not that effective. A lot of manual tasks were there, a lot of redundant tasks were there. People were taking a lot of time to do the same thing. So how do you solve that? By improving the process. And once you improve, you implement the systems or applications to support those processes. So once you implement the system, your customers' needs must be satisfied. That means the requirements, your stakeholder requirements must be met. Right? So as a BA or business systems analyst, you will be focusing more towards analyzing the processes, and based on that you come up with the to-be state process requirements, and then you convert them into the system level requirements so that the system can be built, or if you already have a system, it can be enhanced as well. It's possible that the company already has a system in place, but still you have to do the same thing. You need to understand the processes, come up with the to-be state process, and based on that the systems will be enhanced based on the new requirements. So are you guys clear with what the business analysis is and what the role of a BA is?
Yes.
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 Okay, good. And as I said, as you grow in your career, you will get exposed to these areas as well, right? Maybe 6-7 years down the line, you will be working in all these areas and not just the process and like application layer. But for now, most of the time will be spent understanding the processes, understanding the applications, so that you can understand the needs and requirements of your stakeholders, and based on that you come up with the to-be state requirements and you convert them into the system level requirements using different tools and techniques, so that your development team and testing team can understand what needs to be built and how it needs to be tested. And then at the end of the day, you hand over the application to your customer, who happens to be this bank, and hopefully now their processes are much more efficient and effective, and they can serve their customers in a much more better way That means now they can get back the customers, they can make growth, right? They can stop the fall in the revenues. Once the revenues start growing up, they can also get rid of a lot of problems, right? When the company has got good revenue growth, the rate of growth is good, their operating costs can go down, their profit margins can improve, employees will be satisfied, and because of all this, the stock prices will be back to normal, right? So you can see the ripple down effect by implementing one single application. And I've seen this a lot, like in one of the places, the client had a lot of different small applications. And the problem was the application were pretty old. They were like old technology. They were all broken and they were never enhanced in the past like 10 years. So when we did the modernization of all the applications, it led to like almost like 60% growth, annual growth. So this is a very important aspect of any organization's strategy, how to make their processes much more efficient and effective. And one of the best ways to do it is by making use of technology. That means run those processes on an applications, either automate them or let people use applications to do their processes. Okay, any questions on the role of a business analyst and what the business analysis is all about?
Chetan, Sirisha here. I have a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean that, every time let me see. So it doesn't have to be that we recognize or see an issue within the process and, the management sees an issue in the process and then we try to enhance it and come up with a solution. Would it be that we get a requirement from the customer and then we try to do an analysis again and take the requirement from the customer, give it to the development team and act as,
Like
middle
a
person?
liaison? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah. I mean, it can be that can be possible. That's a valid scenario where the customers will tell you what to do, but that doesn't mean you just have to accept and do it. You still have to analyze it. Now, many times what happens is they already have an application, right?
Yeah.
And they want to make some changes to it. So you as a BA will be taking what they need to do, right? What their needs are. You will take down their needs. You will understand their needs, but you will still do analysis on how it's impacting the current process, how it's impacting the current applications you have in place. That analysis will still be done by a BA.
Okay.
Right now, let's suppose I already have a application. Let's take a logistics firm, right? They have an application to track their logistics. Now, the customer comes and says, okay, we need to add some new requirements to it. We need a new feature in the system, right? Wherein we should be able to see the inventory in real time. Instead of doing it once in a day, I should be able to tell exactly what my inventory level is at this point of time. So you need to see what will be the impact to the process first of all, and then if you have an application, how it's going to impact the current application.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay.
And we'll 1 second, I think somebody is typing. Okay. So, sorry. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I get it.
Okay. So here you can see this pyramid. Can you see this?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Okay. So basically by now you should know that the business analysis is all about understanding the stakeholder needs and requirements and building solutions. When I say solution, that means, improving the processes, building some systems, applications that will ultimately meet your stakeholder needs and requirements. Correct? So typically this is how your requirements pyramid looks like. First comes the need. What is a need? A need is coming from your top level customer, right? They are also known as business need or business requirements. And they are very high level. They don't give you much more details. They don't give you any details or specifics. It can be as vague as we want to see 20% growth per year in our sales, right? Or it can be as broad as we want to reduce the cycle time by 5 days. Let's suppose this bank is offering a loan to the customers, but it's taking like 10 days to process a loan. Now imagine if you are a customer and you have two banks or two options. One bank is giving you a loan in 10 days, another bank is giving you a loan in 2 days. Everything else is same, right? All the terms and condition, the rate of interest, everything is same. Which bank will you go with?
For 2 days, of course.
2 days, right? Because it's giving you in 2 days. You
Yeah,
want the loan fast instead of waiting for 10 days. You are saving 8 days there, right?
sure.
So the bank may see that, this is one of the reason why our customers are not sticking to us or they are not coming to us, and instead they are choosing the other banks. So the business need can be reduce the cycle time by 5 days, 5 business days. That's my business need right here. But is it enough for the developers to do anything?
No.
No,
No.
right?
No, it's not.
It's not even enough for a business analyst to understand anything from that. So now what happens is you as a BA, business analyst, will be talking to the stakeholders, like people who work in those departments, divisions. It can be a manager, it can be a clerk, it can be a supervisor, it can be associates, right? All of those people you will be talking to and understand what they need in order to meet the top level need of the client, correct? So you'll be talking to them, you will understand how things are being done in the current state and then how you will improve in the future state, right? So your role starts right here when you start talking to the different stakeholders. So the same thing, what we discussed before, you will analyze the processes, the as-is, you will come up with the to-be state processes. That means in the future, how can we do things so that we can meet this need here, correct? In order to meet this need, how are we going to change the processes? And once you have laid out, you will convert those requirements into system level requirements, which is this layer, right? Your system level requirements will be the ones which will be used by the team to design, develop, and test the system. There are different types of requirements. We'll, of course, we'll talk more in detail in the course, but there are different types of requirements, like a functional, non-functional interface requirements, UI requirements, business rules, transition requirements, and then there are different ways to write it. One way is the IEEE 830 style, which is the system shall statements. The second approach is using a use case approach. And the third one is writing a user stories. So the same functional requirements can be written in 3 different styles. It depends on your project environment, which style they prefer. You will have to use that.
What do you mean by a system shell?
See, the system shall is a way to write your requirements, your functional requirements mainly. Now, let's suppose I'm logging into the system, correct? I want to use a system, but before I start using, I want to authenticate myself, correct? So you would write something like this. The system shall allow the user to enter their ID password. It is just the way you write the requirement. It is a style of writing the requirement. The system shall allow the user to download the report. The system shall allow the user to upload a document. The system shall allow the user to fill a form.
So you mean to say for every sentence or step it should start with the system shall?
Yes, that's a you can say the style of writing or the convention. That's how initially we used to write the system shall statements. But you know what? The way we write the requirements have evolved in the past 15-20 years. So the system shall is one of the very primitive ways of writing. Then came the use case approach. In 1995 up until 2005, the use cases were pretty much in demand. It was like the way of writing the requirements. But now in today's environment, people have moved to user stories. But it doesn't mean that you should not know how to write the system shall statements and the use cases. Sorry, somebody had a question?
Chetan, I just figured out my laptop. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can vaguely, but I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No issues. So yeah, this is basically, one of the ways you will be writing the requirements. You don't have to write all the 3 ways in one project. Either you will be using the system shall statements style or a use case style or a user story style.
Chetan, are we going to cover how a use case would be like, how user stories are written? Would you be covering all
Of
this?
course.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very important concept.
Is it important for a BA to know all 3?
Yes, very important, because I'll tell you just 5 minutes before we started the session, one of my trainees, she sent me a text. I'll read it out, okay?
Yeah.
I'll read it out. See, she said, I don't want to market myself, but I'll just tell you that, okay, this is Neha. I wanted to thank you for all your help you gave me during my interview. I have joined my office as senior business analyst in NTTT Data Inc. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. And then I asked her, is it an agile? She said, no, it's a hybrid. So we have to write, in some cases, we have to write a use cases, and some projects we have to write a user story. So basically, yes. So you must know all 3 different styles of writing the requirements.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I think that makes sense, Chetan. I just want to add to that, because in my current project also we wrote use cases and then it was mixed with hybrid, so we were following the agile somewhat mixed of that.
Right. Okay, sure. Yep. So this is just one, some example I was talking about. Your business need is at a top level. expedite the loan approval process from 10 days to 2 business days. Your stakeholder requirements are coming from the stakeholders who are working on a day-to-day basis. It can be a loan clerk, it can be a loan approving officer, it can be anyone who is working in those divisions, right? So you will understand the way they are doing things. You will come up with the to-be state processes and then convert those requirements into the system level requirements. And here I've just used the system shell statements, but depending on your project requirements, you may have to use any of these methods. Either it can be system shell statements or a use case or a user stories. Okay, now let's go to the next topic. So what are the skills we need to become a good BA?
Huge list.
What's that?
So not just, it's a big list.
Yeah, it's not a, but see, thing is, basically out of all this, there are two things which are what you call, it's not something you can learn overnight. Like
Right.
your analytical skills and your comm skills, problem solving skills, right? These, I'm not saying you must be like a super intelligent to do this. It's nothing, it's no rocket science, but you must have some basic, like, thought process, and your comm skills should be good. When I say good, it doesn't have to be, I'm not talking in terms of accent, because one of the guys in my previous session, he asked, look, do I need to talk in an American accent? And I said, who told you that? It doesn't mean that you have to speak in that accent. It should be basically clear, unambiguous, right? And I'll share one thing. I have one guy, he's an American guy in my project. He's a BA. He's a good BA. His analytical skills are good. Of course, his communication skills, you can say he's an American guy, right? It has to be excellent. But the problem with him is, if you ask him one question, he will take 1 hour and still he will not answer the question you asked. So at the end of the day, you did not get any value out of that conversation, right? So your
Yeah.
comm skills should be good in the sense, should be clear, to the point, unambiguous, and add value to the conversation. Now, presentation skills, you will learn. Some of you might have never done a presentation, but as and when you start working in a team, you will improve, and at one fine day you will be very comfortable talking in front of an audience. And I'm not telling you that you will be talking, you'll be made to stand on a podium and you will be talking to like 1,000 people, right? It's not like that. You will have to give a small demo to a team or conduct a meeting, those kind of things. And eventually when you start working, first couple of months, they give you a lot of time to get acclimatized, get to know people, get to know the domain, processes, right, the culture, and then you start contributing. You don't contribute from day one.
But Chetan, it depends on the company you join, right? Like the consultancy firms
Yeah.
usually don't give you time.
See, consulting firms means like you're talking about you go and work with a client, right?
Yes, and mostly those companies give you jobs basically to visa holders. So I'm talking about those mostly.
Yeah, I mean, see, it doesn't matter whether you are on H-1B or green card or whatever you are. Nobody expects you to work from day one. Typically, they will give you at least a month to get used to the environment, the culture, the processes and everything. So you can use that time to learn new things and get familiar with how they operate and how they function, what are the expectations, things like that. So your presentation skills, your learning skills can be improved as and when you start working. Now, learning skills never cease to exist. I mean, they never stop. Even today I learn, right? In IT, you can never say that, I'm done learning. So even I take some courses on a yearly basis because I get from my company, I get tuition, and I have to maintain all these certifications. So even I keep getting trained. Even though I train so many people, I have to keep myself up to date. So I also learn a lot of new things every year. So learning skills that means you are always eager to learn new things. Okay. Your organizational skills will be, your basic skills, like, how you plan your meetings, how you coordinate your task, how you assign the task once you start learning, and once you uh, have people working under you, you may have to ramp up on those skills as well. The domain knowledge will also be important. Once you start working, you will get to know that domain. So the domain knowledge is, let's suppose you are going for an interview and that is a bank or that's an insurance company. So that insurance is your domain, and it's not a showstopper if you don't know the domain. You can always learn on the job. Are you guys there or got disconnected?
We're here.
Okay.
We're in there. We're there.
Okay. Now all of a sudden, it became like dead silent. So yeah, the domain knowledge is something which you can learn on the job. So some of the things are that the good thing is some of the skills can be learned on the job, and some we will prepare so that you can get into that field, right? Your documentation skills, your problem solving skills, your technical skills, those things will work so that you can crack the interview and start working. And once you start working, you will, by default, you will improve on your presentation skills, on your learning skills, on your organizational skills, your domain knowledge, those things. Any questions?
No.
I have one question, Chetan. So will we be covering any domains here specifically, or will be mixing and going through?
Yeah, so the domain, good question. So we will be covering some basic domain in the sense a banking domain, or like if you want to have a specific or if you have a specific interest in, let's suppose, healthcare, or you want to have a specific knowledge on investment banking, then you will have to let me know, and we will have those sessions once we are done with the training. Now it also depends on where you are. Let's suppose you are in DC metro area, so you may get into a lot of government-based projects. In DC area, a lot of projects are basically directly or indirectly supported by government. So you may have to basically focus on those kind of domains. If you are in if you are in New York, New Jersey side, you may want to you may want to target the finance domain, right? You're in Boston, like one of my trainees, she was in Boston, so we just targeted the banking domain. So it's much easy for you also to get the job, and you don't spend time in learning any other domain which may not be that beneficial. But as I said, the domain is, I would not be much concerned about the domain specifically, because when we interview someone, we don't care about whether that person has domain knowledge or not. If it's there, it's always good. But if it's not there, it's not a showstopper. Because domain, yes, you can learn in a couple of months, you can learn any domain. Any questions?
I'm good.
Okay, now let's talk about the career prospects. So this is based on IIBA's survey, which they did in 2013. And how many of you know IIBA?
Not me.
Okay,
I
so
have seen it before.
International Institute of Business Analysis.
yeah,
Yeah.
No, let me see.
so of course it's no crime not to know that. So don't get scared. So IIBA stands for International Institute of Business Analysis, which basically issues certifications in this field, and it's one of the premier institutes to give certifications in this field. So I told you, right, the CBAP, the one I hold, that is issued by IIBA, and there are many more certifications they issue, but basically IIBA conducted this survey in 2013, and you can see the figures here. So on an average, I would say that around 70 to 90K is a range typically when you start working as a BA. It can vary from 70 to 90, right? So that's why I'm giving you a range. I'm not giving you an absolute numbers because it will depend on a lot of factors. It can depend on your location, where you are looking for a job, the domain you get in, the project you get in, because some projects are heavily funded, so they can hire people with higher billing rate, right? And some projects may not be that funded, so they may have to give you low billing rate. So those kind of factors will kick in and decide how much you are getting. But I would say, a safe range is 70 to 90K. Now, 120, 125 is like, when you are really targeting like a very niche domain like investment banking, right? Or you are in New York City, you're working in a financial district on a Wall Street, then you should expect 125K and more. But if I'm working in a regular bank or in a regular firm supporting a client, uh, still you can expect anywhere around 70 to 90K gross per annum. Any questions?
So one question. So will we be able to clear the certification after this training, IIBA?
Okay, the certification I'm talking about is the Scrum Master, right? Now, IIBA certification, there are a couple of things here. One is there's another entry-level certification they came up with that you can take it, right? But I would say that start working as a BA and then take it. The reason being, there are certain questions in those certifications which are scenario based, and you will be much more comfortable answering them once you start working. But we are targeting the certification which is very much in demand, much more than what IIBA's entry-level certification is. Okay, now I'll give you more details to it. See, IIBA came up with a new certification which is what they call, I forgot the name, but it's an entry-level certification which basically can be taken by anyone. You don't need any experience. You don't need any, you know, previous work experience as a BA. But the problem with that is if you put that on your certificate, on your resume, people will know that you are fresh, right?
Oh yeah.
and they will not pick your resume for interview. That's like a catch-22 situation there. So you don't want to take that certification and announce to the world that, hey, I'm new, I don't have any work experience. Real, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sumera, level 1 certification requires any hours? No, it doesn't need any hours. It's like a, fresh entry-level BA certification. But the problem, as I said, that if you are targeting a pay package between 70 to 90K, nobody is going to give you when you are announcing to the world that you don't have work experience and I got certified from IIBA for level 1 certification, right? So that's the reason why that certification will not be a big, will not be in big demand for the same reason. The CBAP is very much in demand, but the problem with CBAP is you must have 7 to 8 years of experience and you should have worked as a BA to handle those scenario-based questions in the exam, because like a couple of my colleagues, they took and they were unable to clear it because they were not exposed to those kind of questions.
So does CBAP require any PDUs?
Yeah, CBAP requires CDUs, what they call, but
I see.
yeah, it needs, I think, 32 or 40 hours of CDUs. Yeah, but
Okay. And do you do that?
right now I'm not doing it, but I'm planning to start that as well.
Okay.
Because yeah, I'm in the process of getting certified through IIBA, my course, and once that is done, I can give the training. But yes, what we are targeting here is the goal is to get you, train you, right, and get you certified as a Scrum Master and start working as a BA. That's a goal here. And the Scrum Master certification is not only in demand, right, but it's also very good way to enter the market, especially when the Scrum and Agile is so hot. I would recommend you to guys, I would recommend you guys to get certified immediately once we complete the course.
Much effort is needed to clear that? How many days we need to study for that?
See, it will be like a part of our course structure, right? So I'll talk more on that in a bit, but as and when we complete the topics, and strategically I'll be taking those topics in the very end of the course so that it will be fresh and clear. So the moment we are done with the course, you can go ahead and get certified.
So what does the Scrum Master actually do? I mean, why is it hot in the market, or what does the Scrum Master mean?
Sure. Okay. See, as I said, there are different SDLC models or software engineering frameworks in place, right? Waterfall was one of the oldest ways people were developing the softwares. But then came, not then, in between there are a lot of other SDLC models, but in today's environment, Agile is highly in demand, right? Within the Agile framework, Agile umbrellas, you have DSDM, you have extreme programming, you have feature-driven development, you have Crystal, and then you have Scrum. Scrum is one of the framework, right? So Scrum is like in today's environment, 70 to 80% of the projects are being done using the Scrum framework. And within the Scrum framework, there is a role called Scrum Master, who is kind of a PM role, project manager role, not exactly a PM, but he or she is a person like a coach to the team who helps them build the products or build the applications. No, so why I'm telling you to be a Scrum Master? Because most of the projects, the BAs will be taking on the role of a Scrum Master. You don't have a dedicated Scrum Master in many projects. So what they do is they let the BA play the role of a Scrum Master as well. Okay, so that's why, you know, if you have a Scrum Master certification, if you have a BS, right, now background with a Scrum Master certification, you will be very much in demand in terms of your skill sets, and you will be able to get more interviews. And you know, if you can talk confidently in the interview, you can crack it, because they want people who have a BA background plus they know about the Scrum and they are Scrum certified.
Okay.
So now let's talk about the role of a BA, or rather the career of a BA. So there are two different options. One is you can go towards the technical part or technical route. You can become like a business architect. As I said, you know, as you start gaining more experience, you can become business architect. You can go to the manager and you can become an enterprise architect. Of course, enterprise architect will also need more technical knowledge as well. But that's one way to grow your career. Another approach is you go towards the management side. So you start your career as a BA, your senior BA, then you become a project lead, project manager, right? Or, you know, if you are using a Scrum environment, you can play a role of a Scrum Master, and eventually you can become a part of a PMO, like a project management office. So PMO is all about, you know, it's more at an enterprise level than looking at one project. You are taking care of multiple projects, and it's at an enterprise level, you can say. Right? So there are different options. Either you can go on the technical side or you can go on a managerial side. Any
Sorry, my
questions?
question
Yeah.
I have a question. It might sound really dumb, but I thought when you call a project manager, it is usually towards the technical side, and there would not be any non-technical project managers. Is that wrong that I
Okay.
heard?
So you just told a sentence that will basically, that's valid in the sense, I would say. But see, there are two different types of managers. One is sometimes you have a technical program or a technical project manager, right? Who, as you said correctly, that this person will be technically sound, but they deal more with the developers and solution architects and take care of all the technical issues, right? That's a technical program or a project manager. But then there is a project manager who takes care of the schedule, the cost, the budgets, the day-to-day affairs of the project, all the people issues. You want to hire someone, you want to fire someone, you want to manage your clients. Those kind of things will be taken care by the project manager. So the technical PM will be different. He or she will be mainly focusing on the technical issues, and this PM will be mainly focusing on the non-technical issues, like schedules. Are we doing all the tasks on time? Is anything delayed? Are we meeting all the milestones? Those kind of things. So that PM doesn't have to be a very technical guy, but you know, eventually I've learned once you start working in IIT, even if you don't want to learn anything technical, you will learn something.
Okay.
Like I started my career in 2003 in IT, and in today's environment, like today, of course I cannot code, but I can look at the code, I can take a look at the SQL queries, I can run the SQL statements. I know what is a web service. I know what it looks like. I can understand the technical architecture diagram, right? So it's all by experience and working with all the technical folks.
Okay. Now, since you said SQL, that gets me another question. Should a BA have knowledge of SQL? Should be able to run SQL queries, at least should know any database access or
Yes.
doing.
Yeah. So I would say yes, a BA must have some basic knowledge of SQL to begin with. And if your project needs advanced skills on SQL, yes, definitely, you need to brush it up. You need to learn more on that. Now, there are some projects which are more data intensive projects, right?
Right.
They are data driven projects. In that, you may need SQL skills more than a business driven project, like a process driven project.
Okay.
Like, if you are building let's suppose a BI, business intelligence application, right? In that, you may need more SQL skills than compared to building an online portal. But we will cover SQL as one of the topics, how to write the statements, how to add new records, how to delete, how to update, what is a foreign key, primary key, all those things we'll cover.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, so the last topic here is what we will cover as part of the training. So as I said, the training will be 6 weeks, right? And we will start from Monday. So this is a demo session, so I don't consider this as a training. So Monday we start our first session, and it will take approximately 6 weeks to complete the course. And what we will do is at around like 4th or 5th week, we'll start working on the resume. Along as we do the sessions, I'll also start working on your resumes and make sure that your resumes are ready by you can say Feb 3rd week or 4th week latest. We'll do some mock interviews and make sure that you're ready for the real interviews. So my target is to finish and make you ready for the interviews by 6th of March. That's basically a tentative date, right? And you should get certified before that. So around last week of, first week of March, you should get certified so that we can put it on your resume and start marketing.
Okay.
Now what we cover, I will talk on that as well. So
do we have 4 weeks of class or is it 3 days?
It's
4 days.
yeah, no, it's 3 days. I think there was a typo somewhere. It's Monday, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is like my course content. I may change a little bit, the order or the sequence of the topics, but everything here will be covered. So module 1 is more about laying the foundation. So, understand who is a BA, importance of BA, some basic stuff. The project management, I've seen like a lot of people have told me that, to take this at the end, because by then they will have a better understanding of the BA domain and the different terms and all the different concepts we use. So I may take this later in the session, but this will be covered wherein you will understand the project management processes, some of the key artifacts which we create as part of the project management, like project management plan, project scope statement, and then the most important piece is creating a project plan using a tool. So we'll use a tool called Gantt to create a project plan or a schedule. That's a hands-on exercise we'll do using this tool. We'll go over some key management concepts which are very important for a BA to understand. What's a value chain, lean principles, Kanban, Pokayuki, core competency, Kaizen, business process re-engineering and improvement. Very important concepts for a BA. Right? This is basically building your foundation. Then we'll take a look at the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Different types of stakeholders. How to identify the stakeholders, because you need to understand who's a stakeholder, because they are the people telling you what their needs are. So you should be able to understand that. We'll do hands-on exercise on how to create a Reiki matrix using basically MS Excel. It's a basic tool. Probably everybody knows that. We'll understand the different types of requirements. As I said, the functional, non-functional, all of those. We'll go deep, do a deep dive and study all of those. We'll take a look at the SDLC phases and then the different SDLC models we have, like waterfall, spiral, RAP, Scrum, right? All of those we'll review. Then we'll take a look at the requirements processes. There are different processes like elicitation, analysis, documentation, solution assessment, then how you manage your requirements. Everything we will take a look at it. We'll study those. So as you see, module 1 is more geared towards laying the foundation. It's basically, setting a stone for the next step. In module 2 will go over the different elicitation techniques. Right? There are different ways to do the requirements, to elicit the requirements. We'll go over all of those. We'll see the pros and cons of all of these. But from this point onwards, everything is so hands-on. So how do you do your SWOT analysis, your root cause analysis? What is a business process management? How do you come up with a business process model? Creating your as and to be state models. And we'll be using different tools like MS Visio, or some people have Mac, which you cannot use Visio. So you can use a tool called Lucidchart or Glyphy tool to do the exercise. So a lot of assignments will be given around this topic, how to create your process flows. Then when we come to the system level requirements, we will study how to create a system context diagram. Again, we will use any of these tools, MS Visio, Lucidchart, or Glyphy, to come up with the system context diagram. We'll study the object-oriented concepts, UML, Unified Modeling Language. Within the UML, there are different types of diagrams, use case, activity, and state chart, sequence diagrams, class diagrams. All of those will be covered in UML series. Again, we will use any of these tools, MS Visio, Lucidchart, or Glyphy, to do hands-on exercise on that. Now, as I said, modeling is one aspect and documentation is another aspect. So we will also see how to create some documents like FRDs, functional requirements document, basically using MS Word, a use case documentation, again using MS Word, how to create a data dictionary, how to create a business rule document. All these will be hands-on exercise. What you see in red denotes you will be using a tool to do all of these assignments. Now this is where I will be focusing in one of the weeks. So 1 week will be dedicated to Scrum, where we'll take the Scrum and only Scrum. So we'll talk about what is Agile, the concepts behind it, what is Scrum, the manifesto, the different roles within Scrum, and how to write an epic stories. Now we will be using a tool called Jira. That's again a hands-on exercise. How to write an acceptance criteria using a syntax called Gherkin syntax, a given when-then statements, again using Jira tool, and how to estimate a story, how to break it down into subtasks, what is the velocity, your burn down, burn up charts, right? This will be covered as part of Excel as well as Jira tool. Again, how to close a sprint, how to start a sprint, everything will be used using a tool called Jira. Then we will take a look at what is a wireframe markups and how to create one using a tool called Balsamic. Right, so you will be creating wireframes markups using this tool. Then we'll take a look at the SQL. What is SQL and some basic concepts of database, ERD, how to create an ERD. We'll do it using a Visio tool. We'll see what is the database schema and write some basic SQL statements. There's a website because you need a database connection, right, to run the SQL queries. So we have a website where you can go and run the queries. So we'll use that. And in module 3, we'll take a look at the requirements management concept. What is the requirements management? How do you do that as a BA? How to create an RTM, requirements traceability matrix. What is an RMP, requirements management plan? And how to create an RTM. It can be using Excel or a tool called DOORS, Dynamic Object Oriented Requirement System. Okay. We'll take a look at the estimation techniques, how to estimate a requirement, because sometimes a PM may come back and say, hey, can you give me an estimate on how much time it will take for you to do your requirements? So you should be able to know, you should be able to give them some numbers, right? And there's a technique on how to do it. So we'll take a look at that. Your configuration and change management. So that's a concept which we will cover, and we'll use a tool called SVN Tortoise to go over this configuration and change management process. And then some basic concepts of change control board, quality assurance, what is the role of a BA in testing, quality assurance, different types of testing models, what is a test case, things like that. And then some basic topics like, service-oriented architecture, what is SOA, service-oriented architecture, cloud computing concepts, what is a cloud computing, because it's important when somebody is talking about these things, you should not go blank, right? As a BA, you might be involved in all these discussions. You may not be expected to be expert, but you should know what they're talking. So we'll cover some of these concepts, SOA, cloud computing, but I will go more towards the BPMN, which is a business process model and notation. So what is BPMN? So BPMN is nothing but it's an advanced way of modeling your processes, right? So BPMN is a language, but that doesn't mean you have to do a coding there. It has got a set of notations which you will be using to model your process, right? So again, we'll be using Visio to do that. Or if you have Glyphy or Lucidchart, you can use that as well. And there's one more tool which I forgot to mention here. That will be a Confluence tool, which we'll be using to see how to use that tool in a Scrum environment. So there are two tools, Jira and Confluence, which we'll be covering as part of Scrum. And as I said, by March first week, you all will be certified as a Scrum Master. That's my guarantee. And then we can start marketing. Any questions? Okay.
Sorry, I have
No,
a
go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
All that you have mentioned, how are we supposed to have them on our systems, or how do we get access to? Some of them Visio, yes, I do have on my system, but Jira, the course content looks really good, because that is something that I have no idea, but that I'm excited that I'll be learning. So I'm looking forward for it. But all the tools that you mentioned, I don't have any of them except for, Word, Excel, or Visio.
Okay. So the good thing is you don't have to pay a dime to use these tools, right? So what we'll do is some of the tools are open source tools.
I see, okay.
That means you don't need to pay for using them. You can use them without paying, without buying the license. Some tools are license based, but the good thing is they give you some trial version, like a trial period. So you can use them for like a week or 10 days or like 1 month. So you don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
So you won't be spending any additional money on the tools, except you will have to create login ID or create your account to use those tools.
Okay.
And even if you decide after the training you want to use the tools, there are two ways you can do it. One is you can again create a new account and use the tool, right? Or sometimes, the registry will not let you use that because once you created your account and you have used that tool, unless you refresh and reinstall everything, it will not let you do it, right? So the good thing is these tools are very cheap. So you can buy a monthly subscription and you can use it for like $4 or $5 a month. And you can do it on a month-to-month basis. So you can say, okay, I want to use it for next 2 months. You can pay like $10 and use that and then discontinue.
Okay.
But I don't think you will need that. They give you enough time for you to play with the tool and be comfortable.
Okay.
And one question I have.
Mm-hmm.
So these tools, you'll let us know in advance which one we have to install and all that?
Yeah.
So that, okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we are using that, I'll tell you a couple of days before so you can get ready.
And
okay.
also that you'll share this presentations and all those, right? So you'll let us know how we can access that as well, so that if you want to go through after the class, we can go through that, right?
Yes, I'll do that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And will you be giving any assignments as well?
Of course, yeah. I'll be giving you assignments, and that's why all these things will be your hands-on exercise, right? All the stuff which is in red, I'll be assigning you some work, and you will be doing it using the tools, and I will give you the feedback as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on the contents of the course, what we'll be covering?
No questions, but I'm kind of excited, tensed, butterflies.
Okay,
oh.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, one last topic here is some housekeeping stuff, right? So this will be your like a one-stop shop where you will be coming and using the portal. This is like a Google site, and this is from one of the previous batches we did. But I will create a new portal, new website for this batch, but it will be on the same lines. So this is where any announcements will be done. like you will be notified as and when anyone post an announcement. It's basically a broadcasting feature where you can broadcast a message, and you can see it here. This is basic stuff here. I'll be putting some milestones here, some dates when we should be done with the module, and other key milestone dates will be put in here. Resources will be where I'll be adding all the reading material under the specific topic. So for example, if we are doing the process modeling, so anything related to the process modeling will be added to this part. So this is basically your reading material. You can download and read it at your convenience, right? So that's basically your reading material. Your assignments will be posted here, right? And you will be uploading your work again here with a name to it. So your name and then the name of the assignment. So as and when I give you assignment, I will tell you what to do. So you don't have to, because it's a lot of information. So don't worry about remembering or writing it down. So the next thing will be, I'll be giving you some quiz, which will be basically an online quiz. You'll have to answer them, right? This I already covered. Your resume and interview preparation will be, later we can discuss, but here I'll give you a document to read, plus I'll work with you to create your resume. So this will be, we can discuss it later. But the main thing here is this part. So as and when we complete the recording, the sessions, all the sessions are being recorded, and they will be uploaded here for you to, if you want to come back and review it, you can come here and, play, pause, rewind, forward, whatever you want to do, you can go through them. So this will be one of the important sections. Resources, assignments will be your important pages. Okay,
so this is right on the website, right?
Yeah. Now this is okay. Good question. So this is a Google site. So this is not my own website, right? Own in the sense, I'm not talking about the skillcubator.com. That's a different website, right? That's the web-based website. I'm not talking about this one. This is a different website, right? This is just, but what I'm talking about this one is, I will share this website with you guys. Okay, you will have to go and subscribe to all of the pages. So when you see this icon, go here and click on subscribe. So whenever any activity happens, you will be notified. Now, if you don't want to get notified, don't do that, because sometimes you may get 6 emails from me within a span of like 5 minutes, right? So it all depends on your preference. If you think, yes, I want to get notified as and when things change, click on subscribe. So you will be given, you will be sent an email with all the changes I made, and you will have to do it for each of the pages. And you can always unsubscribe if you want. So once you do that, you're all good. You can go and, use the portal for all your training needs.
And do you keep the presentations as well? Because if you don't want to go through video, if you just want to go through your presentation, you have that as well.
I'll be giving you a reading material in the sense, yes, it will be PowerPoint, some will be a Word document, some will be PDF, because my PowerPoints will be there, but they are more like, synopsized. So I will give you relevant information and relevant reading material which will be much more helpful for you to understand.
And this access we'll have for how much time, or is there any limit to that, or we can have that access?
It's lifetime access.
Yeah, I'm not that picky, but you know, once you get placed, nobody cares about it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But just make sure that you know, you don't misuse your access, because sometimes, you know, people try to do that. They pass it on to some of their friends and all of that. So as long as you're not doing it, you will be good.
Now the point why I'm asking, because there may be some concepts which we will not touch at some time,
Yeah.
right? And we have to
Yes.
review it later on, so that's why.
Yeah, you will have access. Don't worry. Okay. Any questions? And yeah, sorry, one last thing about the certification. So we will be, as I said, the Scrum Master certification will be covered as part of this training. So I want you guys to be certified, get certified by the end of the training, right? So there are two different institutes you can check it out, and you know, depending on your preference, you can get certified from any one of those. Okay.
Is there any charge for that?
See, my training is included in that, but you will have to register with that institute. Now that institute, there are two different institutes. One is scruminstitute.org, which charges like $29, right? That's a fee. Yes, that's an online exam. And the other one is scrum.org. That's again online exam, but their fees is like $180 to get certified, like registration fees. So if you want to get certified from any of these institutes, you know, it's okay. The course content is same, and I don't see any big difference in getting certified from the one which charges you $180. So I would recommend get certified from scruminstitute.org because it's much cheaper and you still get the certification. And government, I will share my experience in government sector. It's a recognized certificate, so it's not something which is like given by some private institute. So it's a recognized certificate, and you know, you can get certified for a fraction of the cost. Okay, good, thanks. Okay, we are right on time. It's 10 p.m. Eastern. So any questions?
Not from me. We're good. Great demo. Thank you, Chetan.
Okay, you're welcome.
Looking forward for the training.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much, sir. For me, then I'll see you on Monday, I guess.
Sure, welcome. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, call me if you have any questions. My number is with you guys, right? I've been bugging you a lot, so that's my number, 703-200-9921. And
Chetan, now, one
yeah,
more question. I think that's important. How to pay?
Oh yeah.
yeah. I will send you the details. Okay.
Then do we have to get anything printed out before Monday? Because I'd like to
No,
do that.
just attend with a clear mind. That's it.
I agree with
Okay, thank you.
Sumera.
Thank you. Thanks for your good comments. But yeah, let's get going, and we start on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you know, let's work together on this. Okay?
Yep.
Thanks, Chetan.
Sure.
Thank you, Chetan.
Thank you. Good night, and I'll see you back on Monday. Any questions, call me, okay? Good night.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.